all the allegations that have come.
And so the biggest misconception of you?
That I'm the cruelest, meanest, horriblest person who's
Ghislaine Maxwell, once the queen of the elite. Private jets, billionaire boyfriends, parties with guest lists that could make world leaders sweat. She rubbed shoulders with presidents, royalty, Hollywood's biggest stars. And now she's behind bars. Every door slammed shut on her life. But even in prison, she hasn't stayed silent. She knows the game of power and secrets so dangerous they could bring down even a duchess, like Meghan Markle. So what does she really know? Let's dive in. She wasn't born into power. She was trained for it. Ghislaine Maxwell grew up in a world most people will only ever see in movies. Private estates, elite boarding schools, and a father whose influence stretched across continents. Her father, Robert Maxwell, controlled newspapers, publishing houses, and politicians like chess pieces on a board. And Ghislaine, she was his favorite, the one he molded to move seamlessly through high society. She learned early how to charm, how to network, how to make powerful people feel comfortable around her. But behind the luxury, there were cracks. Her father's empire was built on secrets, lies, and manipulation. And when it all came crashing down, Ghislaine didn't just lose her father. She lost her identity, her protection, and her place in the world of the elite. But when you lose everything, you become willing to do anything to get it back. And Ghislaine was about to meet someone who would show her how dark that path could go. After her father's mysterious death at sea, Ghislaine Maxwell's world collapsed overnight. She needed a new life, a new protector, a new source of power. And that's when she met him, Jeffrey Epstein. To Ghislaine, he was everything she had just lost: status, influence, money, control. To Epstein, she brought something he desperately craved: credibility. She moved through high society with ease, and with her by his side, Epstein suddenly had access to rooms he'd never been able to enter alone. Their partnership was more than romantic, it was strategic. People whispered, but in the world they operated in, whispers were currency. And as long as the elite kept benefiting, no one asked questions. But behind closed doors, though, a darker reality was unfolding. What they built wasn't just a network, it was a machine designed to exploit. And Maxwell was the engineer who made that machine run. Maxwell wasn't just part of the elite, she managed it. She coordinated schedules, private trips, and exclusive events. Every detail mattered. Every misstep could expose someone. Every success increased her power. She had a system. Connections were currency. And while the world saw a glamorous socialite, Maxwell was building influence in the shadows. For Maxwell, the first whispers of trouble started quietly, then grew louder. Investigations, media attention. Suddenly, the walls she had built around her world were shrinking. Maxwell tried to deflect, to manipulate as always, but this time the stakes were higher. The people she once controlled were no longer blind. The elite network that protected her began to waver, and then a name started surfacing online. A name that would send shockwaves through gossip circles and social media alike: Meghan Markle. Some speculation hinted that she was somehow connected to Maxwell's world. Rumors about a mysterious document, a supposed CV, began circulating, painting a side of Meghan that the public had never seen. Online chatter suggested she may have been in circles most people wouldn't even imagine. No one knew if it was true. Maxwell hadn't confirmed anything, but whispers alone were enough to ignite a storm. Speculation went even further. Some hinted Meghan may have moved through circles that were glamorous and murky. The term adult game popped up online in whispers and forums, always framed as speculation, never confirmed. The public devoured it. The intrigue spread. And then there was something grounded in reality that added another layer of tension. David Boies, the attorney for Virginia Giuffre, suggested Meghan could be called to testify in the civil lawsuit against Prince Andrew. He explained that she lived in the US, so she was within reach. She had also been close to Andrew for a period of time, which meant she might have seen or heard things relevant to the case. And perhaps most importantly, Boies believed she was someone they could count on to tell the truth. No deposition has actually taken place, but the combination of whispers, speculation, and potential legal involvement created a perfect storm. The world waited. Maxwell remained silent, or so it seemed. Meghan remained silent, and the story only grew darker with every passing day. But what made it truly chilling was the one thing missing from the noise: Meghan's voice.
Because that voice, the one that always fought back, had suddenly gone cold, and silence, in the face of accusations this dark, speaks volumes. Silence can be louder than any statement. She had always been quick to defend herself. Every perceived slight, every media story, every tabloid article, she responded. Her brand was built on transparency, empowerment, and speaking her truth. Yet now, silence. Meanwhile, the world noticed. Every Instagram post, every lifestyle rollout, every public appearance was dissected for meaning. She released jams, launched wellness products, curated every photo like nothing was happening. But the quiet only made the storm louder. Because when someone who always fights suddenly stops, people start asking why. And the rumors weren't going away. Maxwell's whispers, the alleged document, online speculation about her past, the possible deposition in Virginia Giuffre's case, all of it swirled together, forming a shadow that followed every move Meghan made. Every day she stayed quiet, more people assumed there was truth behind the whispers. The public began connecting dots, imagining connections, questioning motives. Her entire post-royal identity, empowerment, honesty, transparency, was suddenly under scrutiny. And with Maxwell's prison whispers fueling speculation, the story kept getting darker. Because when silence meets rumor, the imagination fills in the blanks. And the blanks can be more damning than any accusation ever could be. The carefully polished image she spent years building was cracking, and the cracks were starting to show the shadows underneath. Meghan Markle spent years crafting her image. The empowered Duchess, the humanitarian, the woman who escaped toxic institutions and built a new life on her own terms. Every interview, every public appearance, every post reinforced it. But whispers have a way of creeping in. Online speculation, Maxwell's prison hints, and the mysterious alleged document began to cast shadows over that image. Suddenly, the narrative of transparency and honesty was being questioned. People started to wonder, could someone who spoke so loudly about empowerment and truth have a hidden chapter she didn't want anyone to see? Could the rumors, the speculation, and the possible deposition in Virginia Giuffre's case actually intersect with her story? Her brand depended on credibility. Her followers, the public, even the media trusted her to be authentic. But when whispers challenge that authenticity, even the smallest hint of scandal can start to crack the carefully polished facade. And the darker the rumors, the louder the public listens. Maxwell's influence, even from behind bars, made it impossible to ignore. Because when someone like Maxwell drops hints, people pay attention. The story grows. The shadow grows, and Meghan's silence only makes the shadow longer.
But this shadow didn't just fall on her. It stretched across the life of the one man who gave up everything to stand beside her, and the weight of it might have crushed him in ways no one could see. While the world speculated, Harry stood at the center of a storm he never saw coming. A storm that questioned everything he sacrificed, everything he fought to protect. While the world speculated, one person might have felt the impact most sharply: Harry. He had walked away from everything, his titles, his country, his royal duties, all for Meghan. But what if the whispers were true? What if Meghan had been closer to those dark circles than anyone realized? What if she had knowledge of things, people, or events connected to Epstein's world, even peripherally? It wasn't just public curiosity anymore, it was personal. Harry's trust, his judgment, his choices, all hinged on the person he gave everything to. And now, with Maxwell's whispers circulating and the possibility of Meghan being deposed, questions began to multiply. Could he have been kept in the dark? Was the life he sacrificed based on half-truths? The whispers created ripples far beyond headlines. They seeped into relationships, into reputations, into trust itself. And the tension only grew, because in this story, the stakes weren't just legal or public, they were deeply personal. Harry may have stepped back from royal life, but the shadows of Maxwell's world were casting themselves across everything he held dear, and those shadows weren't fading. They were growing darker, heavier, more suffocating with each unanswered question, each silent day, each moment that brought the world closer to something inevitable. Time never stops, and neither does speculation. The whispers, the rumors, the alleged document, they hung over Meghan like a shadow. Maxwell's hints from prison, combined with the real possibility of a deposition, suspicion kept the world on edge. Every day she stayed silent, the questions multiplied. What did she know? What might she confirm if asked under oath? Secrecy breeds suspicion. Every locked door, every refusal to comment, every carefully curated social media post only added fuel to the fire. Because in the court of public opinion, silence isn't neutral, it's damning. And Maxwell's name loomed over it all, a reminder that secrets rarely stay buried forever. Someone always talks, someone always leaks, and when that happens, the fallout won't just be public. It could shatter reputations, brands, and trust built over years. The clock was ticking. Every passing hour made the whispers louder, the tension thicker. And the world watched, waiting for the moment when the shadows would finally reveal the truth, or something close to it. The whispers continue. The alleged document hasn't surfaced. Maxwell remains behind bars, yet her words keep echoing. Meghan remains silent, leaving the world to wonder, what does she really know? What do you think? Was Meghan just in the wrong circles at the wrong time, or is there more beneath the surface? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story shocked you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe for more deep dives into the secrets the elite don't want you to know. The clock is ticking, and the truth is waiting.